Hello there. How's everyone? Today, I want to share some practical steps for managing leadership transitions within an organization. With over 4 decades of experience that I have in nonprofit leadership and fundraising, and 7 years as a successful entrepreneur, I've seen firsthand how change at the top can impact everything. Just yesterday, I met with an organization that asked me to come in and work with them during a change management process because their leader is stepping down for an exciting new opportunity. And so the organization asked me to help guide them through the transition, something I've done several times before. In one case, I was called in by an organization whose leader left unexpectedly to take time off for family. In another case, I was interim superintendent of a school system whose management company decided not to renew its contract. And those situations and others often bring that change. Well, not often, all the time, bring change and uncertainty. But they also give us a chance, give the organizations a chance for growth and you know, just really reconfirming the mission and rethinking about it and connecting those kinds of opportunities if managed well. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And I'm mainly talking to my nonprofit leaders out there and about the organizations you lead. Though, as I go through some of these tips and strategies, I'm sure you'll see that they can be applied to the profit world as well. Any organization that has a leader and there's some type of transition. And so I want to focus in on something that you will find no matter what leadership book you pick up, when you Google it, anything that you find or research about change management, communication will be in the top of the list, or definitely the top three when it comes to managing change. It's really communication, a foundational piece in guiding organizations through transition and really helping to ensure um, clarity and help reduce uncertainty and keeping everybody aligned. So, what I want to focus on when talking about communication is why it's so important, what needs to be communicated, when to do it, and then I'm going to give you some juicy how to's. So, if your organization is involved in a leadership transition, or one day will be, or if you yourself are in a leadership role in an organization and your leader leaves, or if you're a volunteer, a board chair, or a member of a board. So I'd like to kind of kick it about these two perspectives, a volunteer and a staff. So the first is, well, why is communication important? Why does it appear at the top of any list when we're talking about organizational change and leadership transition? Well, first of all, because being able to talk with folk and communicate to them with what's happening, it helps reduce worry and anxiety. Now, notice I said reduce, not eliminate, but bring down the levels of what surely is an anxious staff, a concerned board, worried clients or customers. So being able to communicate is important. It also communication, why it's important to the process is it helps bring about some clarity in terms of what's happening because that's what people want to know. Well, what's going on? It also creates the uh, opportunities and situations to address concerns so that if you're constantly communicating, talking with people about what's going on, they certainly will feed back to you what's on their mind and what things they think are important and what they're concerned about. So it creates the environment and the opportunity for that. And then one of the things that I think is so important about communication and why we do it is it helps reduce rumors because whenever you have a change in an organization, particularly with the leadership, the leader, the guider of an organization, tons of rumors about what's going on will fly all over through without within the organization and the community all over. And this goes for nonprofits or businesses. That's life and that's how it happens. So if you're a staff person in an organization that's losing their leader for whatever reason, being able to communicate the why of it is a very important role that you have, particularly if you're managing or supervising other members of the organization. And as a board volunteer, particularly the chair, you too will be faced with lots of questions, concerned by your fellow board members. And so communication becomes extremely critical for you as well. So that's the why of it. Now, what's the what of it? That is what to say. Oftentimes I'm asked, well, Dr. Geneva, in this situation, we've got to make sure we're talking about the same thing, that we're clear on what we communicate. And that's true. The messaging needs to be very clear, direct, honest. That is, you got to be truthful and simple. I like to advise nonprofits to pick out one or two, three things at most, messages that you can and want to send. And everyone who's in a leadership position, either on the board or top folk in the staff, need to be talking those same points in their own ways, but expressing those points. And don't have a lot. It doesn't have to be a whole 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 reasons, et cetera. No, that's just going to confuse people and get them more worried. One or two simple messages. Uh, yes, our leader is transitioning, wonderful new opportunity. Want to assure you that if you're a board chair, we as a board uh, understand the situation. We'll be looking for the best person to come in and lead us forward, and the mission continues. Something very simple, but and then everybody should be articulating the same thing. And one thing I want to add to this, if you don't know, it's okay to say that. In fact, that's better to say than trying to make up things or not be authentic about what's going on. So being able to say, well, we know we are facing this transition where we haven't decided yet on the next steps. So we're not in a position to share that. However, we're meeting within the next week and we'll be back to you. So being in a position, it's okay to be in that position of, I don't know, but make sure that you're truthful, you're honest, and you come back. So that what to say is so very critical and should be part of the planning process as you're managing change in a leadership transition. Now, when do you say? When do you communicate? I only got two responses for that. ASAP and frequently. So ASAP, as soon as is humanly possible for you to be able to begin the communication process about your leadership changes, do it. Even if it's an announcement about the leaving and then saying, uh, we don't have the next steps, or we're crafting out the next steps in a meeting over the next week or so, etc. But as soon as possible, get that information out there and position yourself that we're going to be out here. When it's happening, we're going to be keeping you updated. So you want to set that tone. And then, as often as possible, communicate with folk. Again, even if you don't have 10 pages of information to share, that's okay. The fact that you're there, you're making yourself available, you're coming to folk and saying, here's the news we have so far. Here's an update for you, is so critical, because again, the sooner you do it and the frequency of how you communicate makes a difference to those who are worried and anxious, because trust, as time goes by, those anxiety, worry levels go up. There's a direct relationship between the two. And then finally, I want to just say about how to do this communication. The best thing is to have a communication strategy or plan. And that strategy would identify what the messaging is, who are the key stakeholders that should hear the messaging, when's the best time to communicate, how the best time is, whether that's going to be by email, is that convening a meeting, is that having individual conversations, or some combination of various ways to talk to people, to share information. But having a plan that you very intentionally think about, write down the information, is very critical. I shared with you that one of the uh, leadership transitions that I helped manage was when a long-standing relationship between a school system and a management company ended because the management company decided not to renew the contract. And what we did in that instance was everything was about communication. And the plan that we developed actually was a communication plan and strategy. And we were very, very intentional about who and when we would talk to, because not only were we dealing with what was happening inside the organization with employees and staff, but also outside the organization with parents and students and community members. So this function, this dynamic of communication is absolutely key and essential. And there are many stakeholders that are affected by something as simple as an individual who's sitting at the top, at the helm of an organization, leaving. So again, creates enormous change in the organization. So as a board member, chair, member of a board, and as an individual who's still in the organization in a leadership role, Communicating, how you share with people what's happening, how you talk about it, the why, what, when, and how is extremely critical to you carrying out your mission, continuing to serve your customers and your clients, um, encouraging and working with donors who also have to be on that list of stakeholders that you inform very intentionally. And so all of these pieces put together, again, show how communication is so critical to managing a change process when the leader leaves. Okay, I hope that's been helpful for you. If you have any further questions or there are opportunities that you see where we can dive deeper into a subject or a topic you want me to talk about, please let me know. And of course, if you need any help or assistance in transition issues that are happening in your organization, direct message me on LinkedIn or leave a comment in the chat. Good to see you. This is Dr. Geneva, and I'll see you the next time. Thank you. Have a good day.